This is an MS Views and News interview with Katie Collette. She's an Emmy Award-winning journalist and MS patient. Today, we're going to discuss turning your tragedy into triumph. And we're going to get into that right after the jump. How did we meet again? We did an MS
We co-emceed an event for the MS Society nationwide.
That's what it is. It's two
That's
MS
what it
leaders coming together to be the fabulous leaders that they are. So you got diagnosed. And did you have like a whole bunch of symptoms before you got diagnosed? Like, I can't see anymore. How did your diagnosis story go, Katie Collette?
I had one symptom, and it was I had lost the vision in my right eye, and I had a lot of pain in my right eye. So fortunately, I listened to my body, and I went to my eye doctor, and he said he did all of these tests. And I failed every single one in amazing fashion.
In amazing
fashion. And so then I had to go to an ophthalmologist, and they checked me out. And long story short, I was diagnosed with optic neuritis. And they prepped me and said, listen, 1 in 5 people with optic neuritis has multiple sclerosis. And I was like, this is not good. So at the time, I was the weekend anchor at Wavy TV here in the Virginia Beach area.
Wavy Katie in the building, y'all. Wavy Katie, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. So I was the weekend anchor there, but I was up for the morning spot, which would be the Monday through Friday spot, which is the spot that I wanted. I want to be a morning anchor. That's the lifestyle that I like to lead. So I was like, I want this spot, but I couldn't see, Damien. So I had to take a few days. Yeah, that part's tricky when you have to read a teleprompter, interview people, see things, words, all the stuff. So it was a couple of days later, I was officially diagnosed with MS. I mean, from the jump to being diagnosed, it was a total of 2 weeks. First symptom, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 2 weeks later. And people might think that sounds crazy when I say it's a blessing, but when you are in our MS community and you realize how fast that is from first symptom to diagnosis, that's why I'm as healthy as I am today.
That's lucky. You're lucky.
Exactly.
It took, I don't know, 3-4 months before 3-4 months, 4 doctors before I got MS. Many people have this for years. And still don't have a clear-cut bottom line, but you got yours in, would you say 6 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. I went from my eye doctor who believed me, to the ophthalmologist who believed me, to the MRI, to my family doctor who read it and said, this looks like multiple sclerosis. Neurologist confirmed it. I was officially diagnosed. And that was a 2-week period. Okay.
So now you have MS, right? And you've got this career that is kind of on its way up there. And there's a part where you're like, okay, do I tell everybody that I have this thing? Do I hype this? Many people feel like they have to keep their diagnosis to themselves and not share it in the workplace. Has that been your experience?
I am the exact opposite of that. I'm very, very blessed at Wavy TV. I know a lot of people feel like they cannot share their diagnosis because they're afraid that even though it's illegal to not promote us or to not give us the bigger projects because of our MS, so many places do it, and they kind of do it on the sly, or they try to act like they're doing us a favor. Well, you're not. Not at all. So and it's not fair, but I had a couple, and I even had a couple people at Wavy, good friends of mine, say, are you sure you should tell management? And at the time, I did not have that morning spot. I was a reporter in the field and also the weekend anchor. So I was like, with MS, if this develops into something more, or I have a bigger flare up that could impact my mobility, my photographers are going to need to know. And my managers knew that I was having a vision problem. And I really did feel like I owed them a truthful explanation. And so I just immediately shared with them, hey, listen, I was just diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And Damien, their initial reaction was, how can we help you? What can we do to make this better for you here at the station? And it was never like oh goodness, good luck. I hope it can work. It was just always so warm and loving and welcoming. And then So that was, I got the diagnosis, and it was about 3 or 4 days later, I was on a trip, right after the diagnosis. I went up to Boston on a trip with my husband, and I got a call from my assistant news director that said, hey, we want you to start anchoring the morning show Monday through Friday. So I'm just freshly diagnosed with MS, trying to figure out if I'm going to live, if I'm going to be able to walk, if I'm going to be able to have children. And then they want me to go in front of all of our viewers Monday through Friday. But it also shows you their mentality of, well, we believe in her. She feels like she can do it. Let's give her the shot. So it never occurred to them not to give me the chance. And that's when, like, the first day that I went back to Wavy to really start auditioning for the morning show, which just means I was on the morning show live, I would go behind the scenes in commercial breaks and I would cry because I was still processing my newfound life. Absolutely. And an initial terror. And then I would powder up, and nobody knew. I didn't tell them. I didn't tell my coworkers at the time, what was going on. They didn't know I was crying, and the director would be like 30 seconds. So I'd powder up and I'd go back on live TV.
Let's go.
Because no one wants to wake up to a sad grouch. So it was just, hey, good. And, I worked through it.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened in the other city. So
exactly.
Yeah, no.
And inside you feel like you're dying because you're not sure. Yeah. You feel like you lost your life because, like, when you're diagnosed with MS, you lose the original version of your life that you had planned. So you have to adapt to the new life. So it's like a death of a life, and then you start a new life. Absolutely. With your MS life. And it took me time to process
it's like a phoenix.
That.
It's like a phoenix being rising from the ashes.
It is. It really is. You have a loss of your future dreams without MS. And then you realize, I can still live my dreams with MS. Yeah. You might just need to make some adjustments. But I mean, I got that job. I got the morning spot. I've been the morning anchor there for almost 12 years now. So
speak on that. I don't have my life that I envisioned for myself.
Yeah.
And there's emotion running through me as I say that, because that's my situation. And it was your situation. And if you're dealing with this condition, that's something that you are smack up against. So how did you find your way through that? Like, yo, I don't have my life that I knew I was going to have. However, this life that I do have / this life that I'm becoming and that I'm approaching, there's a whole nother set of power. And I'll just say power. There's another set of power in that. So how do you translate that to someone else who's a little bit lower right now, who has a little bit more of the chips stacked up against them, and they kind of feel the walls coming in, and you just kind of need to get that freedom back?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of time to get to that point. But I will say, the moment I was diagnosed, I looked at my husband and I said, I have multiple sclerosis for a reason. And it is because I have a job that allows me to speak to the public. And as long as Wavy permits me to do so, I'm going to share my diagnosis, and I'm going to let everybody know. I'm going to let the viewers know. I'm going to let everyone know. And my news director at the time, and he wasn't wrong, he said, you really have to think about, do you want to be known as the news anchor with MS? And he's like, because that's going to be it. And I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I want to be known as the news anchor who has MS, who is still on my TV this morning. I want to be known as the news anchor who has MS, who on the inside, our viewers are starting to understand, I may not feel great, but I'm still at work each day doing my thing. People with chronic illness don't feel great, but we're still living our lives. And it was very cathartic to me to share that with the viewers and to help them. I get so many messages from viewers when they're first diagnosed, family members of theirs saying, hey, my daughter was just diagnosed and she's in a really dark place. And I'll say, hey, have her reach out to me if she's comfortable. And I've done that with so many people. And that's why I got it. And that's what kind of really lifted me out of my own, oh, woe is me state, because I knew that I could make a difference. I'm a journalist, and we like to make a difference, and we like to help people. And I got this disease so I can do that. that's what helped me have a much more positive mindset.
Look, I've not classified it in my own brain as such, but that's kind of what I'm doing with my own journey. You wouldn't want this in any objective sense. However, it's yours, and what you do with it is what you do with it. And in some way, we all have visions and we all have things that we want to do, but the closer that we lean into just being our most authentic, true selves, the more that vision can conform to your situation. And you had this vision when you were just a regular person that was not a patient, and now you are an MS patient, but that vision's not gone. That vision maybe get achieved differently. That vision will maybe have different turns in the road. Maybe it will be seated in this purpose for MS patients. We don't know how it's gonna go, but we still know our vision will come to light. I didn't know how to wrap that up, but
that's true.
You're a walking example of that. That's why it's like, no, come into this space. Speak on this, Katie Collette, please.
Yeah. Well, I think that it is so important. And the message that I want to let everyone with MS know, and those who, who are newly diagnosed, is you can still live a good life. You can still live your life, and don't forget to live because you've been diagnosed with this. And you can live in certain ways. I went through a horrific flare-up several years ago now, where I lost the feeling from my shoulders to my feet, and it just felt like my bones were splintering all day, every day. All day. And I came to work and I still wore high heels, even though I wasn't supposed to, but I still wore high heels because you can pry those out of my cold, dead hands. That's the only way they're going away. And, I anchored the newscast, but in doing so, again, what helped me was I let the viewers know, hey, if you want to learn more about multiple sclerosis, watch me on the show. You can't tell, but I don't feel my body right now. I only feel pain. When my feet hit the floor, I know they're touching, but I don't fully feel it. Right. If you have any questions, ask me. And people would message in and they'd be like, so right now I'm watching you. Yeah. What do you feel? And I would respond and I would say, I'm hurting. My body's hurting right now. And they're like, but how you look so happy. And I'm like, well, I'm happy to be with my friends at work. I'm happy to be on TV and doing what I've always wanted to do, but I'm doing that while I'm in a lot of pain. And it really taught the viewers what it means to have MS and how we can work through it.
In a way. In that vein, there's something on your website about the simple things, like having MS really taught you about how the simple things are the real thing, and the small things are the big things, and how it changed your appreciation for things differently. Please unpack that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So it kind of goes with, don't forget to live, but it's, being able to hold my son's hand. I lost the feeling in my hands for years. And when my little boy would touch my hands, it felt like sandpaper. It hurt to hold my then 3-year-old's hand. And I was so mad about that. But I learned the little things, to just appreciate walking through the grass with him. Or if I had to just sit still, I could watch him play, and how blessed I am to have him there. And I would sit inside some days because it was too hot outside, and I would have my favorite tea. And how wonderful to enjoy my favorite mug of tea in my house that I earned working hard, looking out the window on this beautiful day. I would, on the days that I could go outside, I'd be like, my goodness, the sky is so blue. How thankful I am that I can see color again, because I lost the ability to see color for so long because of my eye problem.
How about that? Right?
Yeah. Leaves on trees are so green. I got that vision back, and so I will find joy in going to the grocery store and being able to see the colors of all the fruits and vegetables. It's my favorite section of the grocery store, because for almost 2 years, number one, I couldn't see all the fruits and vegetables because my vision was such a mess. But number two, I couldn't see their colors correctly either. So you really learn to appreciate the tiniest things, because we don't get to have them all the time that so many people do. And it's such an important mindset. And each day it's those little victories. You know, I got out of bed today because, you know, just showering can be exhausting. If you have an event to go to, holy cow, sometimes I have to get ready, start getting ready 3 hours in advance because I might need to sit down for 20 or 30 minutes after the shower because it's tiring, right?
I have two more events. I have 2 more interviews and an evening event tonight.
Yeah, and you're like, as you're going through it, you're like, why did I do this to myself? I'm so tired. But it's so important and it's necessary. And it's those little wins in there. Like, I showered. What a win. What a win. I'm
good.
I'm doing
I know
this.
I'm the champion.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, we deserve a medal sometimes just for the shower. And, you know, for some people, it's just, you got out of bed today. What a win. You have multiple sclerosis and you were able to get out of your bed and walk out to your couch and sit down and you're watching your favorite show now. That's a little victory. That's a win.
Great. We're done for the day. You do what you got to do. Okay. Good job, champ. Look, Katie Collette, champion, superstar, wonderful mom, advocate, presence for people with multiple sclerosis. Where do people find you, Katie Collette, on these interwebs?
Oh man, you can find me everywhere. You just look up Katie Collette TV. So on Twitter, it's Katie Collette TV. So COLLETT TV. So there'll be 3 T's in a row. Don't be thrown. But Katie Collette TV on Twitter, Katie Collette TV on Instagram, and then Katie Collette Wavy Fox 43 on Facebook. And I respond to people too. Like, it's really me. It's not some random account. It is truly me responding.
You are out here for the people, but you cannot be there for them if you were not there for yourself first. So thank you for figuring out how to be there for yourself and be there for yourself in a way that you can share that insight and that presence with whomever else needs it. Thank you. And thank you for being here, Katie, in this space for MS Views Now. And thank you all for watching. And we'll see you on another MS Views Now. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.